The honourable member from Kingston and the Islands.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Leader of the Opposition tried to excuse himself and his caucus out of the way that they voted earlier today with respect to the Ukraine free trade agreement. I want to tell him that nobody believes him. Mr. Speaker, President Zelensky asked us to vote in favor of this. The Ukrainian-Canadian Congress asked us to vote in favor of this. As a matter of fact, the international trade lawyer for Larry Herman said the Conservative concern about reference to a carbon pricing makes them look petty and hyper-partisan. It's nothing more than a red herring, Mr. Speaker. The reality is that MAGA Republican politics now lives and resides within the Conservative Party of Canada.
Sad, but true.
Colleagues, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the hyperventilating member for Kingston only proves my point with those falsehoods. The Conservative Party initiated the original free trade agreement with Ukraine. We backed Ukraine against Crimea. We led the charge to kick Russia out of the G8, and now that's why we have the G7. This Prime Minister has betrayed Ukraine. He signed off on an export permit for a turbine to go to Russia so that Putin could pump gas and raise money to fund his war. He refused to sell natural gas from Canada, forcing Europeans to continue to fund that war. We want to defund Putin, Mr. Speaker. He embarrassed the president of Ukraine by allowing for a Nazi to be recognized on the floor of the House of Commons during the president's visit. And now the Prime Minister betrays Ukraine while the country has a knife at its throat. He uses it as an occasion to try and bolster his carbon tax by putting in it for the first time in the history of trade a carbon tax in a trade agreement. Mr. Speaker, Ukrainians don't need a carbon tax. Canadians don't need a carbon tax. And that's why my common sense plan will stand up to dictators like Putin, turn dollars to paychecks, dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people, and axe the tax for all.